SC2 player of 2013 here at BlizzCon. Over here in the upper right, in the red, up one game so far. Make some noise for s0s. And in the bottom left, the legend from Brood War here to prove he can be the legend now in Starcraft 2. He is Jaedong!
He is intense right now. To have lost that game.
Looks like we might have a pause here.
Looks like we do in fact have a pause.
Yeah, I think it was Jaedong putting his headset on. He's just doing it now in the booth. But I really agree. I mean, he was intense, man. That stare as we were loading into this next map, I think that would it. Yes, it is. It would have. It really would have angered him. That first map. That would have made him so much more determined for this next one.
That would be so frustrating, that first map. All right, so anyways, we're back into this game. Again, the map is Derelict Watcher.
And you know what, s0s that was just on screen there, he actually looked very calm. He looked very collected and not even really nervous.
It's really interesting. He just seems unfazed at all by this entire experience. He's totally clutch.
Are we seeing mind games happen here, s0s? Are we going to see another early forge?
Yeah, we are. This is another cannon rush.
So is he saying that you can't? I mean, is Jaedong saying you can't cannon rush me twice in a row?
You know what's crazy about this? Let's say that s0s wins here. Let's say that this strategy looks like the last strategy that we saw in game number 1. This will forever change the way we understand Protoss.
Well, s0s is going for it. We don't see a second probe this time. Of course, this is not a map you're going to go low ground. Oh, okay, the drone coming out. Almost looking for something weird going on. And will the probe... Apollo, it's happening.
It is happening, and well, guess what, s0s? You cannot get in between those two pylons.
Yeah, due to the architecture here, he can actually just make a cannon when it's blocked off, and Jaedong is probably going to be forced to cancel here.
This is like s0s's thing, finding funny places that you can't get into. So this cannon rush is already basically successful. Jaedong is not going to be able to stop it.
I don't even know what it means if Jaedong loses to cannons in the finals of this. This is insane. All right, now the drones are coming down here. Kenny, nice wall off there. Well, if he gets these cannons up, he's going to have to cancel this hatchery. That'll put Zerg in a really bad position.
You know what? This is exactly what s0s wants. He gets 2 free drones now as well. Jaedong is way further behind than he was in the first game.
That was so much more successful. Jaedong, in that circumstance, thought he could break it. That's the reason why he pulled the drones, but he couldn't.
I have to imagine that Jaedong is livid right now. In game number 2, cannons already foiling his plans.
Well, this is a terrible spot to be in. You know, he's already lost a couple extra drones. Look at this, he has 4 Zerglings. What are those Zerglings gonna do? See that there's a cannon at his opponent's base? Great job, Zerglings.
We see the Lings now completely rendered impotent. There's nothing they can really do here. He's going to go ahead, s0s is going to go ahead and tech up, get his gas. And from here, s0s has a series of very good options for how to carry out a win.
Yeah, I think it was a really smart play from s0s, because when you open up with a cannon rush in game number 1, Jaedong's going to be thinking, yeah, he's not going to do it twice, and therefore decided to go back to his original build that we almost saw him try to pull off in game number 1. And s0s was able to play that mind game, and he won it, and he gained the advantage.
What do you guys think Jaedong's going to do in this game? Because I think if we look at the last game, it's fair to say that he handled that bizarre situation really, really well. It was the end game where he kind of wasn't able to really follow suit. Will Jaedong do something similar, or is he going to do something more aggressive and all-in-ish?
You know what? I think he has to do something similar. I think he has to play kind of a safe game overall. I would definitely expect Stargate here, although some Protosses like to go for Warp Gate Rush because you have the proxy pylon already up and secure. So he has to just watch out for something like that as well.
Well, Jaedong is taking both of the gases at the exact same time as the previous game. So far, it does look like he is mirroring what he did previously.
Well, you know, it's really safe, and I think that opening like this will pretty much always get him into at least a 4-base situation before SOS has a really dedicated attack.
How soon do you guys expect SOS to take the third? Because the third base on this map's a little funky. It's not the easiest thing to get to.
Well, right now, we're actually seeing +1 attack being researched again, and Chrono Boost going into the cybernetics core, rushing out that warp gate research. He's not mining the most amount of gas from his main base, if I just glance at that real fast there. So I think we could be seeing a gateway attack come from SOS here.
You know, I think a timing could be really effective here. I mean, Zerg is already economically a little bit staggered here, so maybe a move in like that could do the damage that he needs to do.
Well, let's see how many gates he gets. Will it be just 4? Will it be 5, 6, 7? We don't know quite yet. Looks like if he is going to make more, he's going to spread them out. And you know what? If he doesn't have a Roach Warren, that's going to be very scary when those Zealots warp in.
All right, 2 evolution chambers. So right now, Jaedong kind of investing in the late game, in the long run. And you got to think, if the Protoss does have a good timing attack, this pylon, he has a proxy pylon right there where the cannons are. He can actually warp in an army and attack him right away.
But he doesn't have another one anywhere else, so it seems very simple if that were to be the attack and the strategy.
Yeah, but look, I mean, the warp gate just now finishes, and the cannons are still there, the pylons are still there, and now he's going to go for double Stargate.
Well, you know what? I think he's going to warp in around his Zealots, perhaps, harass a little bit with these Stalkers the Zealot he already has, as well as those with the +1, and then just go straight into Void Rays.
And I think this is what we all described previously before this series started, that SOS would need to do. Outsmart, outthink, and just kind of outplay Jaedong without physically fighting in kind of just wars head-to-head mechanically.
Yeah, it's kind of this weird, like, drunken boxing way of playing the game here from SOS, where he just gets in this position where he has complete control, and now the Zealots are attacking in here. The drones are going to be used to defend.
This +1 attack doing a fantastic job. Look at that micro pulling back the hurt Zealot, not letting the Queens be too effective, and he has forced a lot of Zerglings and killed a lot of Zerglings.
And he can, again, warp in more if he wants. We have 2 Phoenixes now on the way. 4 more Zealots warped in on the bottom. Mind you, he can attack from that proxy pylon, the north or the south.
And you know what? I think the last thing he would have expected were these Stargates, but he did scout them, so he's going to have to be very careful.
But without a Roach Warren, I mean, SOS has seen that this is double evolution chambers. He doesn't really can't afford a Roach Warren or Roaches, so at this point, he just continued to warp in more +1 attack Zealots.
The angle here for the Zealots is really strong against these Zerglings. Zerglings now coming in here, but the Zerglings not quite getting as good surface area as Jaedong would want. The harassment continues.
Well, he continues to warp in Zealots there as well. I think that the efficacy of this rush is basically used up. There's so many Zerglings out right now, and that 1-1 about to finish, those are wasted unit rounds.
But we do see Jaedong previously just scouting out the Spire. I mean, scouting out the Stargates, but decided to go Spire still.
I mean, what is that going to be? Is he going to go Mass Corruptor? Maybe Corruptor Muta?
But then, you know, if he goes Mass Corruptor, can he actually get enough out in time before the Phoenixes have already paid for themselves in dividends, right?
It's hard to say. I'm not exactly sure what he's planning there. And seeing the Spire, the Fleet Beacon does go down for SOS. It seems like everything Jaedong is doing is playing into his plans.
What we're seeing SOS do so far in this series, we've never really seen a Protoss do before. This is changing the way we see the game now. This technical harass, starting out with a cannon rush, having a secured proxy pylon, into this air harass. It's absolutely beautiful.
So what is that gas that Jaedong has saved up? What is it for here? 1,200 of it saved, but what does he build?
I still don't know. It looks like 5 Corruptors. Maybe he just grabs a few of those and goes Muta and just says, you know what, I'm going to try to outplay this guy that has mass Phoenixes.
What happens if it's Corruptor Zergling only to try to break this third base? It's only Phoenixes, it's only Zealots, and remember, the Zerglings have a higher upgrade count now.
Now, here's one thing going for Jaedong. He did force a cancel over here. Will that be enough, though? The Phoenix harass and the Zealot harass continues.
Look at this. The Zealots just continue to come in. As you say, Tasteless, they're going after the Spore right now so that the Phoenixes can come in, but there are the Corruptors.
And we now have the Zealots just doing so much damage at this point in time. You know, I think a lot of this goes back to the fact that proxy pylon with the cannons was never taken out.
And Jaedong just doesn't have that high of a mineral income. His main base is consistently harassed. He's only mining fully off 1 base at this moment.
Oh my god, and look at where he puts those Zealots. Just perfect placement against someone only making Zerglings, but luckily with these better upgrades, he will clear this out as well.
So many queens have been picked off here. You know, the Phoenixes are so agile, they can get in and out and just avoid these corruptors with ease.
s0s is playing such an intelligent playstyle right now. He's got 2 cannons there to support another pylon where he can continue to harass and continue to warp in units to stop the incoming economy of Jaedong. This is beautiful play coming from s0s.
It looks like s0s is maybe a minute or 2 away, actually maybe a second or 2 away, from forcing Jaedong on 2 base, and this goes back to the basic theme of Protoss versus Zerg. Zerg always have to be ahead in a base, or Protoss will dominate them.
A perfect play here from s0s. So clever, so good. And he's continuing to upgrade his Phoenixes. He has so many, it makes sense. How does Jaedong recover from this situation?
And I'm not sure he can here from this point. He's losing so much. s0s, as you vividly described, is playing so smart. This is some very intelligent play from game 1 and game 2.
We see the Phoenix is now strong enough to engage the Corruptors, doing so much damage, and Zealot spinning in here. I don't know if Jaedong can recover.
It looks like he may be dying here, Tasteless and Apollo. Look at all of these Zealots just pushing forward. The Corruptors almost all gone. This is bad news for Jaedong.
Again, the Corruptors being beaten back. Nothing really here to stop these Zealots, and I think we're probably going to have to go into game number 3.
Yeah, even if Jaedong's able to push this back with the Roaches and Corruptors he has, this is a very easy place for s0s to fall back onto a 3rd and continue the game longer if Jaedong does defend on what he has in bases at the moment.
At this point, the Phoenix count is simply too high. They're being so efficient. It's snowballed far out of his control.
And I gotta wonder what's going on in Jaedong's mind. How is he gonna recover here as this series continues? Because s0s is playing like probably nothing Jaedong prepared to face against.
You can't prepare against something like this. This is a strategy that we basically never ever see, but s0s has used it and executed it like a strategy he does 10 times a day.
And he's gone up to 4 Stargates now. He'll probably throw down a 3rd base momentarily, and he's just going to increase his Void Ray count. He realizes that Jaedong only has Zerglings and Roaches to play around with. The air units aren't good when the Phoenixes are out in so many.
The Spore Crawlers won't even stop the number of Void Rays that he's going to be flying across the map with. It's a perfect move again by s0s, and Jaedong cannot even switch into Hydralisk from here.
Yeah, right now this is like a checkmate. Yeah, GG. I think Jaedong was biding his time a little bit there after that.